everyone and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, I'm Casca and I love sewing and all things arts and crafts. In today's video, I'll be talking about creativity in the mind's eye. I'm still knackered after finishing my previous project, so today's video is going to be a bit different. I thought it would be interesting to talk to you a little bit about my creative process and the way my mind works. I've always been a creative person and my dad told me I was drawing before I could even walk. When I was young, I enjoyed painting and loved watercolours. I preferred them to acrylics because I felt they produced much more softer work and I loved the delicate quality to them. I recently got back into using them again after a long period of digital painting and it's just as much fun as I remember. About 8 years ago I got my first graphics tablet and I started exploring the world of photorealism. I found that I could push myself so much further with digital painting. Due to my disabilities, using traditional painting materials can be a little bit tricky. My hands get sore quite quickly and I run into the issue of paint drying before I've had a chance to blend it out properly. There's also less options for leaving a piece of work and coming back to it later. With digital painting, I can work at my own pace and I don't have to worry as much. I spent years honing my skills as much as possible, watching countless YouTube videos and experimenting with creating my own brushes. I wanted to be able to replicate what I saw as best as I possibly could. There are some areas that I still struggle with, like hair for example, but I think I've gotten quite good at replicating textures and fabrics. One criticism I've had with my realism work is that people would like to see a more painterly quality and see the brush strokes. For me, this is a huge challenge. I'm not exactly what you call neurotypical and tend to get laser focused in on all the fine details. I'm getting better at leaving things a bit looser, but it's hard to break away from techniques you've been using for years and have gotten used to. The biggest problem I have though is that I absolutely suck at working from memory. I tried so many different techniques and working in a bunch of different mediums. I even thought maybe the position I was drawing in would help me sketch more accurately, but it didn't work. I tried using a tablet and this did give me some improvements in doing things like eyelashes and hair, but as soon as my reference image is taken away, it's as if I completely forget how anatomy works. I just can't do it. The thing is, I don't really think in pictures, I think in words. When I consciously try to bring up an image in my head, it's either really blurry with no detail at all or just a flash for a split second. There's nothing for me to grab hold of to use as a reference image to draw from, and it's hard to draw something if you can't see what it's supposed to look like. I've run into this issue while doing mindfulness too. I was asked to picture my thoughts on clouds floating past me. I looked around to see everybody with their eyes closed, quietly imagining their thoughts passing them by, but I just couldn't do it. I couldn't picture anything at all. This isn't to say I don't have an imagination. I can think of concepts to draw or projects to sew. I can do a mashup of characters, recreate a Victorian dress, or I can turn your cat into a queen. I just need reference material to work from. This can lead to issues with seeing if concepts are going to work or not as well. In order to see if something's going to work, I have to actually make it. I would have saved myself so much time and energy on my last project if I'd been able to visualise the chest burster on the hat idea. My partner knew straight away that it wasn't going to work, but the only way I knew for sure was to make it and see for myself. The idea that I think in a different way to other people was a revelation that I only had recently. I just assumed everyone thought in the same way. I thought that the concept of the mind's eye was just a saying, and I didn't know that people actually saw images in their head. I also have trouble with the concept of looking people in the eye, but that's a whole different video. While looking something up a couple of months ago, I stumbled across an article about Aphantasia and thought, wow, this actually describes me pretty well. From the Wikipedia article, Aphantasia is the inability to voluntarily create images in one's mind. It was first described by Francis Galton in 1880, but gained attention again in 2015 in a study by Professor Adam Zeman at the University of Exeter. From what I've read, it seems there are different types of aphantasia. Some people would develop it after a traumatic brain injury, for example, while others, like myself, are born with it. There are a bunch of videos by people who know way more about this than I do, so if you're interested in learning more, I'd highly recommend looking up Aphantasia on YouTube. I'll also leave some links to studies and stuff in the description as well. So how does this affect me and my ability to create? Well, I have to experiment more than the average person. Most people can picture if a concept is going to work or not, but I have to physically do it in order to find out. This can lead to a lot of wasted paper and fabric. I also rely on my partner a lot. It's good to have someone to bounce ideas off of and get an answer straight away if something really isn't going to work. I also use reference material a lot. I can't picture what an arm would look like from a certain angle, for example, so need some help with that. When I'm planning a drawing, I often end up with a weird collage of different body parts all merged together to work from. Do I think being able to see images in my head would help with my art and sewing project? Yeah, it would speed the process up, I guess. On the other hand, I often end up having ideas purely by accident because I've had to kind of fumble my way through to see what will work. I feel like if I'd been able to work from an image in my head the whole time, I wouldn't find as many happy accidents. I hope you found this little insight into my world interesting. My next video will be making a vintage dress, so keep an eye out for that. If you've enjoyed this video, then giving it a like will be very much appreciated. I'm always open to your ideas, so if there's anything you'd like to see, do let me know in the comments. And if you'd like to see more videos from me, then why not subscribe and hit that bell so you can be notified the next time I upload a video. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.